moving on to the world of wrestling. You know, um, this was a day that I never really believed would truly happen. And now um, Vince McMahon has sold um, part of his stock of WWE to his company TKO. So of course, it was him, Bianca Belair, Montez Ford, along with Dana White, Daniel Cormier, and somebody else. I forgot. So, I'm sorry. I forgot. Like I said, I forgot the name of one of the other people over there. But they were at the New York Stock Exchange to um, confirm this official sale, this official transfer of power, this transition, and in fact, not only that, but also Nick Khan was there as well. Um, and like I said, this was the official confirmation of the changing of the guard. And it was very surprising, for a lot of people to find out that to see that Vince McMahon is no longer the majority owner of WWE. Since 1982, Vincent Kennedy McMahon has been the majority owner of World Wrestling Entertainment. So now, at 78, he's no longer the majority owner of this company, a company that's passed down from his father. This was a multi-generational company. That this was, a dynasty, a legacy, and so for him to not pass it on to his children, but rather sell it to an outsider, this screams succession. You know, um, a lot of people have used that as an analogy. A lot of people have used that as a point of reference. Out and also in honor of National Video Game Day, which was yesterday. Which is something I forgot to mention on last night's episode of Turnbuckle Talk. But since yesterday was National Video Game Day, I feel as though it will only be right that I use a video game reference. The McMahon family is reminiscent of the Mishima Empire from Tekken, and Vince is Heihachi. I mean, he's got the mustache to go along with it. But but the thing about it is that Heihachi refused to pass over his empire to his son, and his grandson, and just the rest of that lineage. Same thing with Vince. Vince refused to sell the company to his family, to his children. He refused to do for his children what his dad did for him. Vince became who he became when it came to as far as ownership because his dad sold the company over to him. But yet Vince would not do that. Vince would not pay it forward and and do the same thing when it comes to his own kids. And it's just like you got to give a dude the side eye. You know what I mean? But also at the same time, when it comes, and not only that, but the fact that Stephanie was not even there for that. And I think that like I said, when it came to that transition, you had Vince, Triple H, Nick Khan, Bianca, Montez, Dana White, Daniel Cormier, and I forgot who the other things. I forgot who the other person was, but we're all them being there. The fact that neither one of his kids were there, um, it just speaks volumes, right? It just speaks volumes of the state of Vince McMahon right now. It speaks volumes to the state of WWE. The fact that his very own flesh and blood, his own DNA, would not be able to take over the company, and the fact that Vince would go to his grave not being, so the fact that Vince McMahon, um, would be going to his grave, knowing that he that he would no longer be the full owner of WWE. The fact that Vince could go to his grave knowing that he did not pass the company down to his very own family, you know, and I mean, and of course, just seeing Vince do that, uh, it almost reminds me of. And so, and the funny thing about it is that let me see. I got this, picture. Sorry about that. But yeah, like I said, the fact, the fact that Vince, would not even, would not even pass the company down to people that like I said, to people that would be his, son. Like, the fact that he would not pass it down to those, who would be, like I said, his natural successors. You know what I mean? Like that just, I mean, it's just like like I don't know what else to say about it other than you know he would rather trust outsiders more so the fact that Vince would rather trust outsiders more so than his own kids, and I feel as though that's just you know just, I'm not even sure, sure what to say about it. It's just very red flaggish, if you will. You know what I mean? Um, so it's fact. Right here. There you go. Walt McMahon. Vince with that mustache and him making these appearances is very reminiscent of when Walt Disney officially officially launched Disneyland when we first opened up Disneyland back in 1955. Disneyland, you have the World of Tomorrow and things like that. It very much gives very strong Walt Disney vibes. Vince looks like Dick Dastardly from for those who have seen Wacky Races. All he has to do is like twirl his mustache, and and I just gotta get my jokes off and stuff like that. Very, very Vincent Price-ish. Like he's about to narrate a thriller. It's just like, and you could tell this guy clearly does not care. This is past midlife crisis level. You know what I mean? Like, for him, it just gives off unhinged. You know, and it gives off unhinged. It gives off disappointed. And in just so many ways. And it's just for him to not pass the torch to his very own lineage. And I mean, like of course, congratulations to congratulations, to the merger with UFC as far like TKO and things like that. And I think I think this merger is why business has changed the way that it has when it comes to just like when it comes to the it's not, like I said, when it comes to just when it comes to just high demand for the product, when it comes to the quality of content, when it comes to because of the fact that even in the midst of Vince's, like I said, trials and tribulations and turbulence and things like that with the controversy, people were still tuning into WWE, and it clearly shows. The numbers show, that the content was still great, even as like I said, even in spite of of his shortcomings of his stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, like I said, the thing about it is that so. well, Start, I'm going to stop sharing. But yeah, you know, even in the midst of the cloud hanging over Vince's head, people were still tuning in. People were still buying merchandise, and I think this merger, um, I think the impact of this merger is, is clearly showing with such high demand when it comes to these pay-per-views or PLEs. You can definitely see the impact when it comes to, let me get to the point. But you can certainly see the impact of this merger when it comes to this when it came to the ticket sales, when it came to the merchandise sales. Um, you know, the way that WWE was doing record numbers during WrestleMania season, to the point where everything sold out at the Superstore. I mean, it was phenomenal in so many different ways. And this is a WWE in the post John Cena era, you know, and this is a point in history, with all due respect to Roman Reigns, where the brand is bigger than the names in the company, you know. Um, I'm sure, and the thing is, I know that there are people, like, here and there that know of Roman Reigns, but the thing about it is that he's not there. If you're a casual fan, he's not the immediate direct point of reference. There's a lot of people still bring up, uh, toxic, bring up Hogan. Go and say his name. Like, so, a lot of people, like, super old schoolish, bring up guys like names like Hogan. They bring up The Rock. They bring up Stone Cold, Undertaker, even, you know, John Cena. But that era is long gone now. And so now this is more so about the brand. And with the way that the brand has been heavily promoted, you know, um, business has escalated like never before. Especially when you look at this post-pandemic era, where business just completely skyrocketed, especially consider the fact that, like I said, especially consider the fact that, that WWE, um, you know, cut down so much on their budget during the Thunderdome era, because of the fact that they didn't have to travel so much. They saved money on pyro and things like that. And so, with that being said, they were able, like I said, they were able to focus that on, find ways to create better content. You look at uh, the merger with NBC for Peacock, and like I said, when it comes to subscriptions, and like I said, just when it comes to just this just unseen, like I said, this unheard of demand, um, to the point, like I said, to the point where they're doing absolute just record numbers and things like that. And I firmly believe that, um, you know, like I said, I firmly believe that, that them bringing Nick Khan in, and you know, like I say, and of course, the different business mergers, different business deals that they have established, are why, you know, business is the way it is. I also believe that that's the reason why the ticket sales have escalated and just spiked the way that they have. And this was a conversation that several of us had last night on Twitter Spaces, on Turnbuckle Talk, hosted by Mimi, Corey, and Justin on Tuesdays. On of course, of course, on Twitter Spaces. I still call it Twitter, not X, but whatever. But like I said, that was that was a huge talking point, and ever since this era of them working with Nick Khan, and like I said, merging with with UFC, and like I said, this UFC TKO merger, stuff like that. Like I say, all of a sudden, ticket prices have gone up, and it's just in such, business is in so much of a higher demand, to the point where I think now they're catering more towards, um, you know, a far more casual audience, a far more um, elite, elitish type of audience, and not just the standard grassroots WWE fans, wrestling fans, and stuff like that. They're catering towards, like I said, towards a more upscale audience. Hence, I believe that is why prices have gone up. I believe that's why, so much of their merch, like I said, especially when it came to WrestleMania season, sold out exponentially by the droves. You know, And for, if like I said, like I said, like I said, the thing about it, of course, for them, like I said, for Vince to sell have his share to an outsider. Once again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but for him to share somewhat to share part of his stock to an outsider, someone that's not even part of the family, it just goes to show what lack of trust that he has for his very own blood. Um, you know, and so certainly the end of an era, the end of the McMahon era. And and so just like I said, I certainly believe in passing the torch, but it's to say that it's a tad disappointing would be a bit of a gross understatement, to say the least. Um, you know, and how Stephanie was played a huge part when it came to the streaming standpoint of WWE, you know, and for her to not be present with that, it just doesn't sit right with me. To be honest with you, like the fact that her and Triple H, you know, um, would not be able to inherit a company that Stephanie was literally born into. Like I said, the fact that her and her bloodline would not be able to, um, you know, uh, inherit that. I mean, of course, she's not going to be like, she's not going to be like scrambling for pennies or anything like that. But I feel as though, when it comes to just when it comes to just family and passing things down. But of course, Vince is not a guy that's known for principles, so it's no big surprise to me that he would do something like that. Um, you know, but I'm gonna make, I said like this, I'll make a bit of a transition because of the fact that um, Monday was Vince McMahon's last um, last episode of Raw, last day in WWE, as the like, so, if it's,